Good morning, grade 11 students. Welcome to our first grammar lesson for the second semester. So in today's lesson, we are going to study the defining and non-defining relative clauses. Please make sure to open your student books, page 85. In today's lesson, we are going to cover three main objectives. First, you will identify what relative pronouns or adverbs refer to in exercise A. Second, you will distinguish between defining and non-defining relative clauses through the exercise B. And finally, you will complete 9 sentences with the appropriate relative pronouns or adverbs through the activity C. Let's get started. Read the 2 sentences and combine them into one sentence. As you can see, we have 2 different sentences with 2 different pieces of information. Brad is an actor. This is the first one. He has a motorcycle. This is the second one. So can you combine these 2 sentences into one sentence? Let's check the answer. Brad, who is an actor, has a motorcycle. So who is an actor here is a relative clause. What's the meaning of a relative clause? It is very important to understand relative clauses because it's the central idea of today's grammar lesson. A relative clause is a dependent clause, which means that it cannot stand alone as a sentence. Look here, who is an actor? It cannot be alone as a sentence. It's related to Brad, who is an actor. And here also the sentence is not complete. You have to say has a motorcycle. It gives more information about the noun. So here it gives more information about Brad. Relative clauses are introduced by relative pronouns. Who, which, that, whose. This is what we call the relative pronouns. And relative adverbs, where and when. All right, now let's move on to the student book, page 85. Which pronoun or adverb refers to people, place, time, thing, or an idea, or possession? Number 1, that's the hospital where he works. So, where refers to the hospital, which means it refers to the place. Saturday is the only day when I go out with friends. So when here refers to Saturday, time. Very good. Number 3, the woman who helped me find my car keys lives next door. So who refers to the woman? So it refers to people. That is the woman to whom I was referring. I was referring to this woman, so it refers also to people. Number 5, the man whose son, which means the son of the man. Whose here refers to possession when we say the son of the man. The house which is next to mine has a swimming pool. So which here refers to the house. It refers to the thing or an idea. All right, now move on to the activity number B. We are going to understand the purpose of the relative clauses, why we use relative clauses when we speak or when we write in English. Read the sentences below and answer the questions that follow. As you can see here, we have 4 sentences and 6 questions. Let's start with the first question. In which sentences does the relative clause provide information which is needed to understand the sentence? You can pause the video and read all sentences and try to find the relative clauses that provide information which is needed and important in the sentence. All right, let's share the answer. Sentence number B. So the relative clause here is introduced by the relative pronoun which. Habits which are good for our health. So this is important to understand the rest of the sentence, and we cannot omit this clause. Include working out and getting a good night's sleep. And sentence number C. The reasons which he gave for quitting his job didn't make sense. You can try to omit or remove this clause and check if the sentence is clear. For example, the reasons didn't make sense. We still have no clue about the reasons, so it's important to identify the reasons. So the reasons which he gave for quitting his job. That's why here the relative clause provide information which is important and necessary to understand the sentence. Question number 2. In which sentences does the relative clause provide extra information? Provide extra information means not really important, but more information about the person, the thing, the idea it refers to. Sentence number A. Pulitzer Prizes, which are awards. So we know that prizes are awards. But here there is more information. Awards for achievement in journalism, literature, and music are awarded every year in April. So we can say Pulitzer Prizes are awarded every year in April. So the clause here is not really necessary but provides extra information. And also the sentence number D, he offered to help me with my project, which was very nice of him. Which was very nice of him. This sounds like a comment and we can omit it from this sentence and it will not affect the meaning of the sentence. Number 3, how is this indicated by the puncture? Now, if we look at these clauses, we have the sentence number A and the sentence number D. This is A separated by commas and D also by comma. So we understand here that the clauses, the relative clauses that include extra information are separated by comma. All right. Can which be replaced by that in any of these sentences? Which one? Can we replace which here by that? Sentence number B, habits that are considered good for our health, and also C, the reasons that he gave for quitting. So as you can notice here, that is used in the relative clauses that provide information which is needed to understand the sentence. Number 5, in which sentences can the relative pronoun be omitted, be deleted? Sentence number C. Look at sentence number C. The reasons he gave for quitting, I can here omit or delete which. Why? Because the reasons is not the subject here of the verb. The subject of the verb gave is he. So he is the subject, gave is the verb, the reasons are the object. That's why I can omit which. Number 6, in which sentences does the relative pronoun refer to the whole preceding clause, to the whole previous clause? Sentence number D, of course, which was very nice of him about the fact that he offered to help me with my project. So this refers to the previous clause. All right, now let's recapitulate. So defining relative clauses give information which is needed to understand the meaning of the sentence. They are not separated from the main clause by commas. So there are no commas. Look at this sentence. The family who or that live the next door are very friendly. So who or that live next door, it's important for the meaning of the sentence and gives information which is needed. So it is called a defining relative clause. Non-defining relative clauses give extra information about the person, thing, or idea they refer to. They are always separated from the main clause by commas, which means if we omit this clause, it will not really affect the meaning of the sentence. Our car keeps breaking down. So this is the main idea of the sentence. Which cost us a lot is just extra information. That's why it's separated by commas, and it is called non-defining relative clause. Alright, now let's consolidate your understanding and complete the sentences with who, whom, which, whose, when, or where. In which sentences can that replace the relative pronoun? Let's start with the first one. Our modern lifestyle. So we are going to refer to our lifestyle. Leaves us with little or no spare time, has a negative effect on our health. Lifestyle, which leaves us. So as you can see here, which is used because it refers to lifestyle, which is the thing or the idea. Number 2, there are those believe that social networking sites have a positive impact on people's social lives. So those, we are talking about people who or that believe. So that can be used for both people and things or ideas. And it is usually used in defining relative clauses. Number 3, there was a time I enjoyed. So here we refer to a time or a period of time. So we are going to use when. There was a time when I enjoyed staying indoors, but now I like being outdoors. Number 4, I don't like people. Mood changes from one moment to the next. We are going to talk about the mood of people, which is possession, and the pronoun that refers to possession is whose. So people whose mood means the mood of people. Number 5, the restaurant I worked before getting married is owned by an old woman. So the restaurant is a place, and we usually use where to refer to the place, which is the restaurant. Number 6, the people I trust. All right, please notice here that the people is the object of the verb trust. It's not the subject. So I is the subject of the verb trust. So I, subject, trust, verb. The people is the object. So we can use here who, whom, or that I trust to give me good advice are usually family members. Number 7, the house in we lived when I was the young is now my sister's. The house is a place, that's correct. Do you think we are going to use where as here? Please notice here in, which is the preposition. So we cannot use where if we have a preposition. The house in which we lived when I was young is now my sister's. Carol, husband is Spanish. Yeah, Carol is a person, but please make sure to complete the sentence. Husband. So we are talking about the husband of Carol, which is the possession. So Carol, whose husband is Spanish, has just been offered a job in Australia. Number 9, the film I watched last night was depressing. So the film, the thing here. So we use which or that. All right, we almost reached the end of our class for today, but let's end it with a more challenging activity. We are going to join 2 sentences using who, which, whose, when, or where. Don't forget to add commas where necessary. And as we said, the commas are used when the clause is a non-defining relative clause that provides only extra information. Number 1, we stayed at the Grand Canyon Suites. It's a 5-star hotel. As you can see here, we are talking about the Grand Canyon Suites, and we provided here extra information. It's a 5-star hotel. So the answer would be, we stayed at the Grand Canyon Suites, comma, which is a 5-star hotel. The second one, James lives on the first floor. His sister won a medal in the Olympic Games. So we are talking about James and his sister. We are talking about the sister of James. And this might remind you of the relative pronoun whose. Very good. James, whose sister won a medal in the Olympic Games, lives on the first floor. And as you can see, we put the relative clause between two commas because it's an extra piece of information. All right, now we are going to leave the rest for you to do it as a homework and check it with your teacher. So this is all for today. I hope everything is clear. Don't forget to do the exercise D as a homework. Thank you so much for your attendance.